They're being bombarded by scientifically crafted, weaponized system. That's only one part of it. Lest they struggle through that layer, they put fluoride in their water. They put hormones to sterilize them and toxify them and to give them cancers in their drinking containers. They give them GMO food, which kills the rats and guinea pigs it's fed to. They approve it. We have a soft-killed holocaust with cancer up several thousand percentile points in every category, diabetes up several thousand or more percent in every category, autism up several thousand percent in every category. We're dying. We're being killed because the enemy knows they can't come in like the Nazis and round up whole cities and machine gun us or work us to death in labor camps. They had to come up with soft kill, slow kill, systems that are hard to diagnose, poisons they introduce in the environment that combine in our bodies. Then they misinstruct and misdirect the doctors who are not specialists to not be able to see it. And then the specialists do put out thousands of reports detailing what's happening. You could have 90% of the Environmental Protection Agency write letters 2 years ago. 90% of their scientists and toxicologists saying sodium fluoride is deadly and is a cover term for a bunch of other poisons. Take it out now. And they say, no, we will not. People say, oh, well, if something like this was happening, people inside would expose it. They have exposed it. They're not bad. You think the average EPA scientist wants their children dying, wants them poisoned by this? I've got all these news reports and clips and studies. Going back to the 50s, they would fluoridate water supplies. They noticed the cows and horses would all die, and they learned back then on big industrial farms to not give fluoridated water to the cows, to the sheep, to the goats, to the horses. There is no doubt. And more and more I realize, just with the fluoride issue alone, people can go research, they can go find out, they can see all the government studies, not just institutions, thousands of them. They can find out about the doubling of bone cancer, the tripling of brain cancers, the quadrupling or higher in studies of leukemias. For God's sakes, do whatever you can to at least not drink the fluoride. To at least, they're now adding it to hundreds of foods. To at least not eat the foods, because I don't want your son or daughter, your precious angel, to die. God help us. And in that, knowing they put it in the water, knowing we have the documents where they put it in the water by design to hurt us, that tells you all you need to know about these people. And that tells you, the FBI and police, all you need to know. You know, I've talked to FBI agents I've run into over the years, and I tell them, go check this stuff out. Go check it out on Google. And they're like, Alex, I know a lot of it's true, and I don't want to get on a list looking at that stuff. See? They'll just admit to me, yeah, we know we're being watched. How is that something you want to give your children? And don't give me that bull about Al-Qaeda. Come on. If they would give black men syphilis, if they'd radiate thousands of American children to death in radiation experiments, if they would nerve gas our own troops lethally in test, and they would put sodium fluoride in our water, what else are they doing? Well, let me tell you what they're doing. They're taking everything innocent and everything good, and they're destroying it. They're annihilating it. You know, I meant to get back into how they're announcing everywhere the carbon taxes, the carbon regulations, the things they're going to do to us. And I want to go over that, and I have all these other clips. Obama youth brigades. Lou Dobbs about how the U.S. government's funding Iranian nuclear weapons systems. Of course, we told you that years ago. I've got a lot of other clips I want to play, but I promise when we get back, we're going to go to Dave, Ray, Peter, Tom, Billy, and others about the election, the economy, and everything that's unfolding. I just know this. We've got to say no to what's happening. We've got to stand up.
With Christmas right around the corner and an unstable economy looming, finding the right gift can be tough. Why not give the gift of an Excalibur dehydrator? The Excalibur dehydrator is not only economical, but also fun for the whole family. Save hundreds of dollars by drying your own fruits, vegetables, and meats. Make your own healthy snacks or start storing your own healthy food in case of emergencies, all with no added salts, fats, and preservatives. What a perfect gift for the health-conscious person in your family, or for a friend who vows to eat healthier this coming year, even if that friend is you. For a limited time, receive the book Preserve It Naturally, filled with amazing, easy recipes. A $25 value free with your order. Just call 1-800-875-4254. That's 1-800-875-4254. Or go to drying123.com. That's DRYING123.com. Excalibur Dehydrator wishes you and yours health and wellness for the new year.
A day unlike any other in the long course of American history, a terrorist act of war against this country.
The enemy struck America on September 11th. But who is the enemy?
Bin Laden. This is his M.O.
We have to look to the Middle East. We have to look to Osama bin Laden.
Fabled Enemies is the first 9/11 film to take a close look at the terrorist ties to intelligence networks inside the United States.
Some U.S. investigators believe that there are Israelis again very much engaged in spying in and on the U.S.
I'm aware that some Israeli citizens have been detained.
Bin Laden's connections to the CIA, the hijackers' ties to the FBI, the Saudi Arabian connection, the Israeli intelligence network, warnings and war games, the shadow government, and much, much more. Fabled Enemies. Get the DVD at Infowars.com or see it in super high quality, along with hundreds of other titles at PrisonPlanet.tv.
Either you are with us or you are with the terrorists.
I am so frustrated. I can't seem to remember anything anymore.
What?
Seriously, my memory and attention span is terrible. I read something and forget. I forget people's names. I hear all this great information on the radio and I want to tell people, but I forget.
Okay, slow down. Poor attention and memory loss is not your fault. Factors like fluoride in the water, aluminum in deodorants, genetically modified foods, the way the education system taught you. It's all meant to dumb you down. You know, I can remember everything now, even entire books.
What? How?
There is this website called School of Phenomenal Memory. Their online course is a real breakthrough in the field of memory improvement. In fact, they guarantee that every single person will be able to memorize any type of information, including entire books after they complete just 60 lessons. And they offer a no questions asked, no time limit, money-back guarantee.
Wow. What's the website?
Now, don't forget, it's pmemory.net. The letter P, memory.net.
Well, coming up tomorrow morning, the voting starts. We'll be here covering it live.
See down in Louisiana, close to New Orleans.
Let's go to your phone calls.
Among the evergreens, the stood a log cabin.
Dave in California, you're on the air. Thanks for holding.
Alex, my brother, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Okay, man. My name is Dave Short. I want people to know that. Make sure they get my name right in my file. And I'm calling from Northern California, and I got one thing to say to you, my friend, and what I think is a very important news tip. I'd just like to say it to you, man. It's so hard not to lose heart sometimes, you know, and especially, God, I'm so glad I'm not you, my man. But you are, honest to God, the perfect person in the perfect place to say these things. You've got the mind for it. You've got the ability to express yourself so clearly, and you've got the ability to see things in the big picture and the small picture. Don't be so hard on yourself, man. You know, we all love you, dude. You know, really.
Well, I mean, don't think I'm even bummed out so much today. I'm just sad. You know, it was okay when I could hate people in mainstream media that lied and twisted things, but now I don't even hate them. I see how pathetic they are. And it's sad for humanity because, and then I look at the cold-blooded New World Order controllers, the social engineers, and I realize that so many people that are going along with this system that are so haughty and arrogant and full of themselves, just the general public, I just wish they knew what I knew because I wish they could see the research. I wish they'd take time out to look into it and find out we're telling the truth. We really got a criminal government that stages terror attacks. They really do poison us, and I realize it's just going to get worse.
Yeah, man. Well, when you're refining any precious metal, the dross rises to the top, and you skim the dross off the top and you discard it. Perhaps people need to start thinking about ways to skim that dross. And but I do have a comment on a news story that seems to have kind of slipped through the cracks, and I think it might be important. I find it ironic that we're possibly going to be voting for a president who may not even be a legal immigrant or a legal member of the United States. And at the same time, we have the American Civil Liberties Union, who, they're not always perfect, is reporting about the Constitution-free zone. Have you heard about that yet, Alex?
Yeah, no, that was actually under Agenda 21. People are just now learning about it. 100 and something miles, 125 miles on all the U.S. borders and coastlines, and
right.
that's about 2/3 of the population lives on the border or on the coastlines. Yep. And yes, they're saying Homeland Security on record says it's a Constitution-free area.
Would you mind if I just well, if people will simply search for ACLU and Constitution-Free Zone, they'll see a map that'll knock their eyeballs out.
Yeah, I've asked my writers a few weeks ago to actually do a report on that. We need to get a more detailed one out to give people the clear picture, but yes, it's really happening.
Can I just make one more brief comment on it?
Yes.
Basically, what it boils down to is north, south, east, and west. It's a 100-mile border that encompasses, well, on the northern border, we've got Seattle and Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. These are the ones that are kind of on the border. North and everything north of that, all of Michigan.
And they
all
don't search people when they come in. It's deep inside the country.
Yeah. I mean, it's everything. It's all the big metropolitan
And now
areas.
they're offering a North American travel card separate from your passport. And see, that's going to be for the immigrants. This isn't to stop the immigrants. This is to munialize the border. It's part of the North American Union.
Absolutely. And of course, if they can do this, they can get away with it, which it appears that they're trying to do. And people just ignore it and say, oh, well, it's not affecting me. Then it's going to go right up the NAFTA Super Corridor and 100 miles on either side of that. And then it'll be 100 miles on either side of the 100-mile border.
You just hit the key, and that's what I told my writers to do a story on. They're also saying in the SPP there's going to be buffer zones on the 84, or is it 83, federal highways, the interstates. And so those will be international zones, and they're going to tax us for the North American Union on those roads.
You are listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
On September 11th, 2001, along with hundreds of my fellow troops, I went to Ground Zero, and we knew what to do. Or at least we thought we did.
Truth Rising is a breakthrough 9/11 film that finally gives first responders a platform to tell their story.
Whitman, EPA director, on the 18th made a statement that the air was safe to breathe.
This film follows the growing momentum of 9/11 truth as brave souls throughout the world.
And over the radio. He takes his hand off, and you hear 3, 2, 1, and it was boom, 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 boom.
This is an emergency transmission worldwide. Download Truth Rising at prisonplanet.tv and aggressively spread it worldwide. Or order the DVD at Infowars.com. If we don't expose the government-sponsored terror, they're going to commit more acts and bring in martial law.
Waging war on corruption. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
We are live now into the second hour, taking your phone calls on any issue you wish to discuss, the economy, the political candidates, what's happening in the world today. Coming up, Lou Dobbs reports on what we wrote stories about at prisonplanet.com and Infowars.com 5 years ago. And I'm not tooting our horn. I'm pointing out again, we're being accurate here. The U.S. government has actually been funding Iran with the non-peaceful nuclear components directly. So has Israel and the UK. And we need to do flashbacks, by the way, at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com of those stories. Lou Dobbs has reported a tiny fraction of just how bad it is. But we do have that video clip if you want to watch it up on PrisonPlanet.com. That's coming up. Also, the carbon taxes, what life's going to be like under that, a lot of key clips. But I want to continue with your calls. Ray in Colorado, and then Tom, Billy, Dan, and others. Ray, you're on the air. Welcome.
Hello.
Hi, Ray.
Hi, how are you, Alex?
I'm fine.
Say, listen, I just agree with that previous caller. You are a brother to us all, and we love you, and we pray for you. You have been speaking truth, veritas, to the people, and we just really appreciate it. And I just wanted to agree that what does it profit a man to gain the whole world yet lose your soul? And I just see it coming down to that. And I just want to make one more comment. As a Christian, I do want to urge people to look at the prophecies that are coming true, because there is truth and there is lies. Just there's no denying it anymore. And I just wanted to add that the Bible does predict that they will make you swear allegiance to their system in order to buy or sell, and that you'll forfeit your soul forever, because that's what they ask. They ask for your soul.
Yeah, let me say this, to the listeners that don't understand. The point is, would you give $1 million to lose your eyesight? And you'd say no.
Absolutely.
Well, losing your mind, losing who you are, buying into this world system, that is a brainwashing mechanism. You are literally losing your soul through that. And even if you're an atheist, even if you are an agnostic, the globalists admit they are trying to set themselves up to watch us, to surveil us, to regulate us in an omnipresent fashion. And it just so happens they are occultists. Even if you don't believe in God, they really do. So, again, it's so amazing that they are building this world system. And it isn't just to buy or sell with the thumbprint, the face scan, as they're admitting they're doing. And it's all coming in now. It's that they're going to use the phony environmentalism to regulate our everyday lives and put us on a carbon credit ration. And so that's going to be their excuse. I mean, it's so horrible. It's total slavery.
It is. It's horrible, and it's total lies. And you have said it, Alex. You said they worship Lucifer, and he's the father of lies. So they believe it. They believe in him. And I just admonish your hearers to believe it too, and choose light. Don't choose darkness. We love you, Alex. God bless you and your family and your staff members. We are praying for you.
Thank you. Well, I'll say this. I've been a very worldly person, and but I've always, at my core, been a good person, and I've always belonged to God. I've always belonged to the good side, though I've certainly stuck more than my toe in evil. And I'm not afraid of dying. I'm not afraid of being killed. In fact, I'm committed, and I'll do whatever it takes. And Lord knows I'm a target. Stuff goes on I don't even talk about here on air. But every day, I feel the Spirit of God, a spirit of goodness and love and compassion and discernment. It's I can't even articulate the understandings I have. It's so complex and so multivariate and deep. I just can't even. It's just overflowing. And a lot of times it's not even a selfishness. I don't want to die because I want to continue to grow. I want to continue to become a better person. And I want to continue to forgive people that have done bad things to me. But forgiving people that have done bad things to you doesn't mean you forgive corruption and that you don't stand up and fight it. And yes, even if you deny spirituality, folks, the New World Order, they believe in it. And they serve a dark God.
HempUSA.org is now offering free shipping worldwide to better serve our customers. Our goal is to get these fine hemp products to you in the least amount of time so you can enjoy what the powder, seeds, and oil can do for you. HempUSA.org has a warning that the U.S. food supplies are dangerously low, and we urge you to protect your family with hemp storable foods today. Tomorrow may be too late. Call 908-691-2608 or visit HempUSA.org. This incredible food source is loaded with enzymes so your body can digest the food you eat. And it creates an alkaline environment where cancer can't grow and parasites cannot live, and brings funguses, viruses, and bacterial levels down and to a halt. Try our powder, seeds, and oil today. Call 908-691-2608 or visit HempUSA.org. If the body has the proper nutrition, it will heal itself. Ask yourself, why does our government not allow this crop to grow in the U.S.? This product is also great for pets and animals. Call 908-691-2608 or go to HempUSA.org today.
A day unlike any other in the long course of American history, a terrorist act of war against this country.
The enemy struck America on September 11th. But who is the enemy?
Bin Laden. This is his MO.
We have to look to the Middle East. We have to look to Osama bin Laden.
Fabled Enemies is the first 9/11 film to take a close look at the terrorist ties to intelligence networks inside the United States.
Some U.S. investigators believe that there are Israelis again very much engaged in spying in and on the U.S.
I'm aware that some Israeli citizens have been detained.
Bin Laden's connections to the CIA, the hijackers' ties to the FBI, the Saudi Arabian connection, the Israeli intelligence network, warnings in war games, the shadow government, and much, much more. Fabled Enemies. Get the DVD at Infowars.com or see it in super high quality, along with hundreds of other titles at PrisonPlanet.tv.
Either you are with us or you are with the terrorists.
You invest, you buy insurance, you wear your seatbelt, you do things to ensure your family's future and protection. But why? Just in case? With the current state of affairs, ask yourself, am I ready? Preparation starts at SurvivalGearSource.com. SurvivalGearSource.com has a huge selection of vital products, emergency survival kits, gas masks, MREs, communication devices, products for pet care, your car, home, office, and school. Protect against all natural disasters and terror attacks that can happen at any time. If you are not prepared, the last place you want to be is standing in FEMA lines. Invest in your future now. Visit SurvivalGearSource.com or call 877-231-1925. That's 877-231-1925. SurvivalGearSource.com. That's SurvivalGearSource.com. Or call 877-231-1925. 877-231-1925. SurvivalGearSource.com. Prepare for tomorrow now.
The Genesis Communications Radio Network proudly presents The Alex Jones Show, because there's a war on for your mind.
Just a broadcast note, several of them, things I keep forgetting to cover. I have to be very careful about what I say, and I realize that more and more. Because the direct responsibility I have, and I'm humbled by the way. Because I'll say things, and then people misconstrue them or start fights over them or attack people over them. And so I want to be clear about this. Last week, Ted Anderson got a call from one of our fine affiliates, and I'm not even going to say who, but it's out in California, saying, hey, people are calling us saying that Alex is on air saying that we're going to take him off air. And I said, well, that's news to me. And then Ted said, well, no, I even got some calls from listeners about it. So what did you say? And then Ted gave me fragments of what was said, and I went, oh, no. I was talking about how I got taken off the air by probably 70% of the stations I had. I mean, I was up to 80-something. Right after 9/11, because I went on air and said 9/11 was an inside job. And then a lot of stations took me off the air. And I was saying that most people will never be in that position. I mean, I've known other Patriot networks and talk show hosts, when they get heat, I mean, they'll have whole networks where 9/11 inside job isn't allowed to be discussed. That was a network out of Austin, or less people say I'm talking about some other network. I was not criticizing any operating network or any station currently carrying this show. I was speaking about being knocked off the air in 2001. I mean, I got up to 80-something stations, mainly mom and pop stations. None of the big, corporate giants were carrying us. They have an oligopoly of more than 90% of the talk stations, just Clear Channel, West Wind, and a few others. But mom and pop stations, a lot of them with huge listenerships, privately owned stations, they put me on because they were anti-New World Order, real conservatives, libertarians, and they liked the message of anti-UN, anti-world government, pro-Second Amendment. And the attacking Bill Clinton, who certainly deserved it, and I could go on there and talk about the government bombing Oklahoma City, and that was fine. I remember going on other mainline talk shows on Clear Channel stations as a guest. And going on there and talking about Oklahoma City being an inside job and the host agreeing and every caller agreeing. It was when I went on air and said 9/11's an inside job. In fact, I even lost quite a few stations in the 2 months leading up to it saying they're going to attack the World Trade Center, they're going to stage an attack, get ready, they're going to launch a biological attack, get ready, they've got to pass all these laws. I was reading in a Pentagon reports where they were saying we're about to be hit by terrorists and our world will change forever. NORTHCOM will be formed and blah, blah, blah. And so I was mainly just talking about never selling out, never compromising, never watering down what I have to say. In fact, from memory, I think Ted said a few stations called a couple weeks ago when I talked about that, thinking I was talking about them. I'm not talking about our dear, precious, wonderful stations that carry the show. And we really appreciate all of you out there. I was talking about the repercussions I have gone through for never compromising. It's easy for Johnny-come-latelys to come along and talk about 9/11 being an inside job today. But did you do it years before 9/11, making films about government-sponsored terrorism? My first film covered that. America Destroyed by Design. I mean, did you do it on the day? I remember going down to be a guest on George Humphrey's show, great guy, on the day after 9/11, and his producer, a lady I'd known for years, began screaming and yelling at me in the hall, saying, shut up, you're a traitor. No, it wasn't an inside job. Now, 6 months later, she was doing shows about it being an inside job, but never really said sorry and never really was nice to me again. Because people aren't big enough when they've been wrong to admit they're wrong. I am big enough, and I'm trying to be big enough of a person to not be a small person and to admit I've been wrong about a lot of things. And I've handled a lot of things wrong. But again, I said that would be a program note. I just spent 5 minutes on it. The other program note, they have international Iranian television, Press TV. It's in English worldwide. I'm also on Russian TV live tomorrow. I'll be on Iranian TV in studio on Wednesday. But they keep wanting to have me on a phone interview while I'm on air. I never have the time to do that. And you'd be surprised. You'd think this would be a U.S. bashing fest on Iranian TV. It's not. In fact, every time I've been on, it's 2-1 on the show against me with a pro-U.S. view. And by U.S., I mean the people running the U.S. So they say they're going to do a simulcast today in the 4th hour. We'll see if that happens. They did it before and then canceled it. That should be interesting. But you will hear me passively on air with their host talking and then the other guest. And I need to ask Craven what the topic is. But it's very interesting to go on these international English-speaking channels. So that should be interesting. That's coming up. So we'll see if that ends up happening in the 4th hour today. Okay, I said I'd take your calls. Let's go to Tom in Las Vegas, Nevada. You're on the air.
A very good morning or afternoon to you, Mr. Jones, and thank you for having me on.
Thank you.
Okay. So many of the things that you say are so brilliant, and I hear a sadness in your voice. It kind of saddens me, and I just like to remind you and remind the listeners, when you start trying to battle these Luciferian freaks on their own battleground, right? I think that it's really easy to get kind of bogged down with the darkness, right? Because that's their forte. That's what they do. And so I would just like to say, I think for myself, the one way that I've found to combat this stuff is really the love thing, just trying to maintain, and you mentioned this earlier, and it's brilliant, just, we have to, it's not a pity thing, it's just, these are people too, we're all fallible, we all have issues, and it's just, at some point, you have to hope that these people are going to look at what they're doing and say, wow, this is really insanity. What I'm doing, what I'm perpetrating is just insanity.
Poisoning children? I mean, what the? Putting HIV on purpose in over 1 million doses of Factor 8 and knowingly shipping it out and laughing about it? Bayer did. I mean, there's thousands of things like that. I mean, the reason I say I have sadness, actually, I'm empowered by almost surrendering. And I flux back and forth between being angry, being enraged, being focused that way. But that tires me out. Actually, when you hear me admitting I'm sad, it's more of a commitment, a full commitment, a deeper level of commitment. I keep saying it's a full commitment, but my commitment just gets deeper, levels I didn't know. And I'm at peace. I'm at peace with whatever happens to me. I'm at peace with whatever happens to my family. It's just a sadness, and the world is so beautiful. Goodness is so wonderful. Decency and wholesomeness and creativity. It sparkles with a billion colors. And so at one side, I'm so thankful to the Creator. I'm so thankful for all the good people in history, and I'm so honored to stand with them and humbled by how dirty and bad I am compared to so many of the other beautiful, wonderful people that are here today with us and that have come before. And I'm also very sad over the years that I, hadn't grown to the point I'm at now, and I know I'll still grow more, that I could have done a better job. So by sadness, it's I don't know. I mean, it's such a deep thought. There aren't even words to describe it. It's just the knowing that the New World Order is real, the knowing they're really going to do everything they said they're going to do, the knowing that they're going to kill most of us listening right now, the knowing that it's all pretty much going to happen, and I think that's in God's plan too, and to know that it's just it is overwhelming.
And I appreciate all those thoughts, Alex. But at the same time, I think when we start to say, and it's not yourself, and I don't hear you advocating these sorts of things, but there are a lot of people in the truth movement and so on that say, we need to get shotguns and we need to go kill them and this sort of thing. And I really think that when you start to have those dark thoughts, when you start to say, these people deserve to be exterminated, then you're doing exactly what they want you to do. That's, I think, part of their con, is they're trying to get us
because they don't care about the cops and the military. They want them to be chewed up in a fight with them. That's part of their plan. But what do you do when slavering punks in black uniforms are dragging you and your family away? There is a time to resist, but I think the offensive going out and looking for it will empower the enemy.
And I think you're right about that. And I would just have to say, though, that I think that Jesus, if he's your role model, that's great. I think there are other examples. If you look at Gandhi, if you look at MLK, the kind of nonviolence thing, because and there have been people who have brought this up. It's like when you start to play by those rules, then you become that same dehumanizing force that they're trying to force upon you. And so I don't really have a good answer for what happens when they kick down your front door, right? Like, I don't think there is a good answer to that. But I just think that in the interim, until that sort of stuff hits the fan, if you will.
It's going on all around us.
Right.
We just don't hear their screams.
Well, I think that we have to pray for these people. I think we have to stay positive. We have to stay full of love. I think if I could just quickly, there are two really good free books on the internet. The Kingdom of God is Within You by Leo Tolstoy, and The Imitation of Christ by Thomas Kempis. I have nothing to sell, but they're out there. They're really good free books, just like how to try and cultivate that kind of loving God thing inside you and not buy into that madness that they're trying to sell us, because I think that is the true measure of their power and their wickedness, is that when they start to convince us to play by their rules, I think that's where their power really lies and where the destruction really lies. And I would just like to warn everybody against that sort of thing. So,
all right,
thank you so much for having me.
Tom, thank you. Billy, Dan, others, your calls are straight ahead. 1-800-259-9231. A lot of audio clips coming up later as well. I haven't even gotten into all the news yet, but I will do that. But we'll take more calls before we go there. This is the GCN Radio Network. I'm Alex Jones. My websites are prisonplanet.com. We're fighting the creation of the prison planet, and Infowars.com.
Benjamin Franklin once said, "Anyone willing to trade liberty for security deserves neither liberty nor security." Now, Mercer Films brings you Uncivil Liberties, a political thriller ripped from today's headlines. Domestic spying, wiretapping, government chipping, and more.
People should look one another in the eye before they go killing for causes.
Uncivil Liberties, the movie that will transport you to a society where the government monitors the moves of every citizen in the name of national security.
The whole country's on a bust. The crazy driver,
If the passengers can't get hold of the wheel, we're all going to go over the cliff.
Go to uncivilliberties.com to receive your full-length feature on DVD for only $13.95. That's uncivilliberties.com to view the movie trailer, read reviews, and purchase the DVD.
The enemy of my enemy is my ally.
Uncivilliberties.com, because in this world, liberty is all that we have, and we must take it back. Purchase a copy today at uncivilliberties.com.
It is a big idea. A new world order.
In the near future, Earth is dominated by a powerful world government.
It's known as the Bilderberg Group. Could their objective be world domination?
For thousands of years, their dark order grew. Now, as they hail the birth of the New World Order, their great dream of exterminating 80% of humanity is at hand. For the first time in history, the elite's plan for world government is blown wide open. You will learn the secret that drives the entire New World Order agenda.
Bilderberg is making great progress toward a world government.
Most people have no idea. They're not after money. They have all the money they need. They're after power. That's their after.
Order in-game on DVD at prisonplanet.com or infowars.com, or watch it online right now at prisonplanet.tv. In-game, blueprint for global enslaving. You have been warned.
Honey, have you seen the remote?
Sweetie, have you seen my car keys?
I can't find my wallet.
Sound familiar? Why not save time looking for lost things and lose the stress instead? Introducing our patented Find One, Find All Key Finders, or FOFA XD for short. Once a FOFA key finder is attached to each of those easy-to-lose things, it can find and be found by all the rest. Use your wallet to find your keys to find the remote control, or any of them to find an uncharged or muted cell phone. The possibilities are endless. FOFA goes through walls, cushions, and laundry baskets up to 30 feet and projects a clear 90-plus decibel beep.
Got the remote!
Oh, my keys.
There's my wallet.
Order your FOFA today with batteries included along with a 30-day money-back guarantee by calling Find One, Find All at 866-245-8670. That's 866-245-8670. Or buy online at FindOneFindAll.com. That's FindOneFindAll.com.
Silver is mankind's oldest natural antibiotic. This very special mineral has been used for centuries by most cultures throughout the world. Utopia, Texas is home to a small but mighty supplement company called Utopia Silver, who offers colloidal products produced in distilled water without use of animal protein, nitrates, or saline solution.